Hello once again, BitNation here with another review. This time we are doing This Is the Police. I know we're a little late on this, but I've been playing this game a lot lately, and I felt the need to, I guess, give it a review. With me as always,
Sam.
Is Sam. My name's Eric.
What's up?
And let's just get right into it. So this game is mostly a simulator. There is a story, very like noir kind of story here.
Yay!
But it's mostly just this I guess you can call it a police station simulator. The day-to-day in the last 180 days in the career of one Jack Boyd. Within
That's what they named him?
Yeah, within that last 180 days, you see everything from petty crime to serial killers. There's also a full-on gang war that you have to participate in one faction or another. And based on who you choose, you get different benefits. But at the end of the day, it's kind of just this: do you stay this high and mighty, pure chief, or do you take bribes? Do you look the other way? Do you get corrupted by everything that's going on? So at this point, I'm about 92 days in, as you can see, and we are just starting our day. So we're just going to go and play by play here. I'll explain everything to you as it comes across. So right now we have a case that is seconds away from going unsolved because I haven't dispatched any of my force here to it. So as you can see, it's ranked here by their experience points.
Oh.
So every time they come in at a certain amount of experience, the newer guys coming in at around 100 to 200 max. Every time they complete a case, they get 10 experience, and then you can award them ranks to give them an additional like 100 experience or so. This icon indicates that this particular man is a snitch for me, reporting on the activities of the rest of the station. So someone such as this guy, who's been promoted 3 times, has a good number of cases under his belt. So what you usually want to do is you usually want a veteran, and you want somebody in the middle, and you want a couple of low-level guys that'll be able to get the experience when these 2 guys carry them through the case. But a lot of times, I mean, none of these, it's never the same twice, usually. Now, a lot of them are very, very similar, but it's never the same twice, and that's very nice. However, since this is a straight-up text game for the most part, any kind of typos that you see, and there have been some, is kind of very disheartening. Like, that was one of your only jobs, is to get that right. Anyways, so in this particular incident, they give you the exact situation, where it's happening and what's going on, and then it allows you to kind of judge as to whether or not this is a wild goose chase or if this is something very serious. Like, there's a lot of, since a serial killer hit the town, there's a lot of false reports. So if you devote all of your men to those false reports, then you won't have anybody around for when the real stuff happens. So in this particular case, a drunk driver drove his van into a bus stop, knocking over several people. The van stalled out, and now the unsteady driver is clumsily trying to escape. So I'm going to send these guys, and that may escalate into a situation where, number 1, they ask you for help and how they proceed. And number 2, you need to send reinforcements. So, okay, so here's another one that came up. In addition to your regular duties from time to time, City Hall and gangs and your corporate interests ask you for favors. In this particular instance, it looks like they ask us to assign a couple of people to the market district, as there's been an up in crimes about it. So I'm just going to send a couple of my nobodies because I don't want to actually waste talent on goose chases for that. So here's another one that's about to run out, and if it does run out, you see a little graphic of whatever was wrong, just whoever did it getting away with it.
Theft.
In this particular situation, this retiree complains that someone has stolen his lawn. 1 month someone comes by to cut up my gorgeous lawn and cut it off. I've never managed to catch the enemy to fertile grass, or I'd have shown him. So in this type of situation, it kind of indicates as to how many officers it's asking you to send, how dangerous this is. So I would just send like maybe my next to last crappiest guy. However, a lot of times, since the game proceeds, the town is growing more hostile towards officers, so a lot of times they'll refuse to go out. Like this. In which case, I sigh and mutter some swears under my breath and then send the next guy as well. So, once they're done, as you'll see the lines here as they get sent out and as they're coming back.
Massive fight.
In addition, you also see it here as well. So, when they're done, you see it on the side here as to the result of this. They captured the person, nobody was harmed, everything's good. And they get all their experience moving on. As I had spoken about previously, you have several interests in this game. First and foremost is the police station. You can hire and fire here, list of your personnel and their characteristics. And like, let's say for that gentleman who's the highest ranking guy in the entire force, you can check out their information. How many cases the guy has taken care of, which is woefully inadequate in comparison to others. I must have hired him on at like a very, very good skill level. And then political views, I'm not really sure. That hasn't come up yet. Whereas others are like drunkards, like this gentleman. So because this guy failed to come into work because he drank too much the night before, it'll tell you that they have drinking problems. And if you want to say let him go, you can either fire them illegally, which may cause repercussions, or if they fall into one of these many categories here, you can just fire them legally. No harm, no foul.
And there's a check mark.
So I'm going to do that now. And then immediately you're able to grab somebody else. So after the police station, there's the city hall, their interests. As you can see, I just got a request from a city hall, but you can make requests to city hall once every few days, more like a month, but once every few days in game for more officers, more detectives, better SWAT, and more pay. Now the Sands are one of the two different gangs that were in this city. I chose the Sands when the big gang war came along, but you could have easily have chosen the other guys. And essentially they just provide you with the services of being able to...
Do you remember the other guys' names?
Yes, but I'm not going to reveal them. Not this time. To where the Sands are like your traditional mafia family, the others were just like punks, like a punk gang of like biker dudes.
Like the Foot Clan.
Yeah, sort of, without all the ninjas. But mostly like dudes with like leather jackets and mohawks and shit.
It's a fun little reference for people to go and Google it. Okay.
Yeah. Well. Okay. So as far as the mafia services are concerned, if your police station starts to turn on you for any reason whatsoever, you can set up fake crimes that they go and check out, and they never come back. So.
Awesome.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Indeed.
I mean, bad, horrible.
And then the one that just activated not a few in-game days ago is the Atticus Corp, and this is more financial. So I have done a lot of shady shit in my playthrough, and a lot of the stuff like drugs, weapons, stolen property that I find, I have the Mafia sell for me. So I get a lot of this. I split it with my police station just to keep them happy, but I keep it in a secret account here so that if I am ever under investigation, they only see the 64,000. But in addition, you can then use the money from your account to pay for additional slots and detective slots. You can have your guys go in a party at a mansion to kind of raise up their energy levels. And then also being able to fire someone safely if you don't have a reason. If you just want to fire, like sometimes City Hall asks you for kind of unreasonable things. Like, hey, you need to fire all of your detectives immediately. I don't care why, just do it. Or fire all the black people just cuz. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So they ask you to do some pretty fucked up shit from time to time. And, I mean, they control your salary. So sometimes they're like, you know what? No. Fuck you. You're getting a demotion. No. You lose like $1,000 in your salary. But I've still got a couple to go here. And it's only day 92, and you're supposed to be playing this for 180 days. So this has gotten kind of stale for me. It's kind of repetitive. There was a serial killer aspect, but I'm not going to reveal too much, but I believe I fucked it up by not acting as quickly as I should have in killing a specific person. And so that investigation got taken away from me. So at this point, I'm kind of like twiddling my thumbs, progressing the story of which this guy and just his life from being semi-retired to full-on police chief, fuck everybody, I'm doing this kind of thing. So let's just continue on here. And just like I mentioned before, they're asking us how to proceed. Two men are pulling a woman with a bloody head out of a Cadillac. The crowd isn't letting them get her to the hospital, and some are yelling that the cops have failed. We'll deal with this by the law of the streets. So they give you two kind of serious options, and then the fine, just make it quick option, which is just like, yep, fuck it. A little chunk of the way, about a quarter of the way into the game, you get a deputy, and that deputy is able to do things for you, such as send people out to barbecues to kind of raise their spirits. If you have enough money, consult a detective with an ongoing investigation, hire a snitch, buy an employee's silence, buy names of who's going to testify against you, and then also send employees to training, which will turn like a piece of shit into somebody awesome. So there was a situation where a senator was like, you know what? I'll give you 2 slots for detectives and officers so you can get more guys, but you also have to take my piece of shit nephew on. He's an alcoholic and doesn't know how to do anything. So it's like, great. So I sent that dude to the academy like 4 times, and he ended up like being very nice. So, as you can see, with the ongoing investigation here, we have these frames, we have testimony from a few different people who were there, and now we have to kind of try and figure out what happened based on the testimony of the people that were there. And that's about it, folks. I mean, the cutscenes in the game aside, which are like sort of like a graphic novel, sort of like an animated graphic novel. That's about it. It has a fair amount of different songs that you can purchase out of a catalog to be the soundtrack of the game, which are okay. I don't know, it's hit or miss depending on what you like. It's not like rock music or anything like that. It's mostly just blues and jazz, stuff of that nature.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I want to play death metal while like just go hardcore corrupt, just like fucking murder it. Like, oh yeah, team up with the serial killer or something.
Yeah, I mean, the serial killer's like, listen, I'm going to feed you clues about my crimes, but if you give it to the FBI, then they're gonna stop coming. And that's what I did. Anyways, so at a certain time, it's the end of the day, and so you change shifts. So these are the people that were at home. These were the people I was just fucking around with. So in between shifts, there might be a cutscene, or there's this. You're reading the day's newspapers before you go into work.
Notes prostitution increases. Okay.
So that is the game. It only really allows you to have one game going. So if you fucked up, you can load, and you can load back to like somewhere back in the previously in the story. It goes off of a calendar here, so you have different days that you can load back to.
Oh.
But otherwise, that's it. So, all in all, voice acting is great, I'd say, for the most part. Graphics are okay. They're fine. I mean, in this type of game, they don't need to be jaw-dropping. Gameplay concept, it's interesting. It's obviously not some people's cup of tea. But it did pique my interest and kept my interest for at least a couple weeks, which is a good enough time. I mean, I've played this for, I want to say, how long? Okay, 21 hours. So let's say I paid $20 for this. I got my money's worth. So that's fine with me, man. As far as how much this actually costs, As of right now, it's normally costing about $15. Okay, so I've played it for 20 hours, so I've gotten my money's worth if I had purchased it at 15. I don't know. Sam, what do you think?
I think it's an interesting concept, and I actually do like boring, repetitive tasks, so it's actually my cup of tea.
I mean, for me, it hasn't really gotten boring until the last, like,
I know,
few
but I'm
hours.
talking about, like, you know, in Mass Effect 2, when you have to sit there and scan the planets, I was like, dude, this is fucking dope. Everybody else was, like, they just point to that, like, that's the thing that they hated about Mass Effect 2, and I'm like, that was fun for me.
Hmm.
So, like, I actually enjoy this kind of, repetitiveness. I also like new, interesting experiences as well, but this is one of those things where it's like, yeah, I can do that. I can get behind this. This looks fun to me.
So, the summer sale's going on right now. So this is even cheaper. As of right now, it's $7.50. So there is no reason why you shouldn't pick this up in my opinion. It's well made. And for $7.50, hell yeah. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, dude, totally.
So, for all of us here at Bit Nation, my name is Eric.
And Sam.
Thank you very much for watching this review of This Is the Police. Peace out.